Gunpla TV here. We're back with another video, and now we are talking to Mike, who is one of our fellow Gunpla builders here, situated in the Philippines. Tell us more about yourself, Mike. Who are you? First of all, who are you? Who is Mike?
My name is Mike, and I work in finance.
Mike works in finance. A little bit more about your background, where were you schooled? I mean, we can mention parents. Tell us more about yourself.
I studied at the University of the Philippines.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we are here in Gunpla TV, and the reason why I asked your presence, is I wanted to know who is Mike as a person, number one, and who is Mike as a Gunpla builder here in the Philippines.
Well, Mike as a person is just your average hardworking guy. Goes to work, comes home, feeds his fish, and my turtles.
There you go, turtles.
And sleep and repeat.
Okay, there we go.
And if I have time, especially on weekends, I get to build my stuff.
You get to build stuff. Alright, so let's talk more about building Gunpla, because that's the reason why I invited you. How did you start? What was the first show that you ever watched? Tell us more about it.
The first show I ever watched was on the VHS tape of Gundam Wing back in 1995, episode 1 and 2.
There you go. That was the first show that you've ever watched.
Yeah.
And when did you start to build?
I got my first kit. I was in kindergarten. It was a gift. I can't remember who exactly, but it's within the family.
Mm-hmm.
It was a full armor double Zeta.
Faz. Wow.
The Faz before it was called the Faz.
Wow.
It was white, was small, and since I was very young, I didn't know how to use tools and everything.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma helped me build it.
Oh, so
Took us a good part of probably a week. Yeah.
a week. So
Yes.
you and your grandma, when you got the kit, she helped you get through it. Oh, awesome. All right, so obviously, you've built your first kit and you were young. What happened to that kit?
It's still in the box, but some parts are missing. I can't find the leg. The ammo band is missing. The springs where the tube is on the waist have already rusted.
Okay.
What else?
And these
I can't find the gun anymore.
These were the original Gunpla kits that came with like the steel springs and parts, right?
Yes, and it also comes with this little tube of cement that looks like the ones from the plastic balloons.
Exactly.
But you need to buy extra because since the Faz is a very, very big kit, you need more.
So, fast forward sometime in the future, when did you get your next kit, I guess?
I got heavily into Gunpla when I was already established at work. I already have a great career going.
Mm-hmm.
I started probably around 2015.
Wow.
Again,
Almost
but seriously this time na. And then I started buying kits. Fast forward to like the pandemic, and then I started building them.
Okay, so you bought them first, saved them for later, and then pandemic hit like the rest of the world. Pandemic hit all of us, and that's
Yes.
when you found the time to actually build the kits that you paid for.
Correct.
Amazing. Okay, so tell us more about the love for the kits. What's your favorite kit?
My favorite kit would always be a Zeta kit.
A Zeta kit.
As long as it's a Zeta, doesn't require much thought, you just get it.
Okay, awesome. So, coming into like 2022, 2023, what are your thoughts on the current model kits? When you got these kits back when you were kindergarten, it's different now, right? We have the
Came a
entries.
long way. It's easier to build. Color separation is great. You don't have to paint them because back in the day, you had to paint your beam sabers paint.
Exactly. So there was a long hiatus with Mike. All right. So he was in kindergarten.
Correct. Yeah.
Now he's earning, he's burning, he's churning, and now he buys kits. And then whenever he has his free time, pandemic hit us. That's the time for him to rediscover or actually just find time to actually build the kits that you paid for.
Yes.
So, can you tell us more about these times? I mean, what kits you specifically bought, or which kits you enjoyed building?
The kits that I enjoy building are the ones with what are first they have to be huge, because back when we were kids, like every one of us, we were told we couldn't afford.
Exactly.
So I made it sort of a personal mission that when I get to a certain age and I have the
It's
means
personal mission.
to get everything that my heart desires. When it comes to the hobby, of course.
Of course, everything that with his heart desires. So, I'm told by a specific mentor of yours that not just I love it when people involve family with the hobby, and it's not just actually your grandma that's into Gunpla, that's been supporting you throughout all these years. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, that. To be honest, my love for Gunpla started because my mom loves Gunpla more than I do.
Your mother,
Yes.
your mom.
Yes.
Oh, tell us more about that.
My mom's a typical mom, but growing up with almost, she's the middle child, but there were two older brothers before her.
Mhm.
So she was more, back then, she was more into guns, cars,
Boyish.
robots.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
And she always liked playing with my uncle's Voltes 5,
Mhm.
Voltes 5's Mekanda,
Okay.
and all those things. So she said when she wanted to have a kid, she'd like introduce him or her to building things.
So even way before you were born, your mom was into robots.
Yes.
Mecha.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Tell us more.
And then I started first with Legos and Technics
Mhm.
as a child.
Mhm.
So my love for building started at a very early age.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what was the first Lego kit, but that I went through Zoids, of course Transformers, Macross, but I had to build them.
It's
Macro.
Lego,
Macross.
Macross. Okay.
And then after that, just kept on building. And then usually every Christmas when you all get kids, me and my cousins,
Mm.
me being the eldest, I get to build most of them.
Yeah, because you're the kuya, right?
Yes,
Like,
correct.
In my experience, like when my younger cousins, it's like I'm like 10 years ahead of them. When they get kids like the Technic, Lego, they get like Gundam kits or whatever, mostly for me. I end up to be the kuya,
The builder.
the builder.
The de facto,
Exactly.
no, the de facto builder.
Exactly. All right. Tell us more. So, tell us more about how your mom got involved with this. I mean, influencing you obviously to be exposed to robots. Tell us more about the mom and the involvement.
She just really likes them. She likes them more than dolls, but
So-
she's still, a mom. Your typical nice mommy. But she likes
Does she ever ask you to buy a kit?
numerous times, especially when I go
So-
out of the country.
So, tell me more about this, how it started, and tell us the progress in 2023.
Here's the thing with my mom's love for Gunpla. I personally just like the heroes.
Okay.
But she told me, these were her words. Migs, pag kukuha ka ng kit, kailangan may kontrabida para merong story when you put it on display.
Okay. Wow. She's that far ahead of the game. Wow. Okay.
Because when I was still not really heavy into the hobby, she would go to the competition. She had a few kits signed by, I didn't know, I think it was
Kawaguchi,
Kawaguchi.
the Masbakok, that was it back then, di ba?
Yeah, that was back then.
Yeah.
And then all I remember, it's a signed kit. I still have it, and it was clear. So my personal thing with clear kits is my hands are naturally oily, so it took me a hard time to build because
Yeah.
it gets slippery and stuff. But
Really?
she's the one that likes. Another thing she likes, if there is a clear version, you need to have it. You need to have your bida, your contrabida, and the clear
In
kit.
clear kits. Wow.
Because it's not for her, it's nice to see how it looks inside of it.
You ever own the MG Freedom 2.0 in clear?
No, we haven't yet.
I have it. I can do it. Yeah, yeah. I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to
Well,
you.
well, thank you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Right. So it's actually okay. So from kindergarten, grandma helped you. Your mom heavily influenced you with mecha, and then you were buying kits for yourself, and then the mom is there to support. I mean,
No,
that's
I buy kits
Mhm.
for my mom.
oh.
It's my way of giving back all of the love, the support, kindness, patience.
So Mike, you're saying you weren't buying those kits when you were earning for yourself. You
No,
were buying.
they
it-
were all for my mom.
Wow.
When the time comes when she wants to retire, she can either build something or has something to look at.
This is actually new to me. This is something that I've never heard of before because most of the modelers I know from my group, most of the modelers or the champions that I talk to, it's all about them and their hobby, maybe some influence, but when you are inspired by a family, and we're talking about specific family, and your mom, your birth mom, your biological mom, and you make this sacrifice for her because you
Oh, no.
want her to have a
For me, it's not a
it's
sacrifice.
never a sacrifice.
I've always just tell me to build it, I'll build it. Makes
Not a
me happy.
sacrifice. There you go. So you find a thrill.
Wow.
You get your kick. You find your joy because you build for your mom.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I guess my fellow builders. I mean, just
Because when
It's
a
good
person,
person, eh.
when people reach a certain age and they're at the top of their game, their careers, it's
Exactly.
hard to find them something to give on like birthdays, their anniversaries, Christmas. So it would be best since if you have difficulty looking for something to give her, might as well make her something with your own two hands.
Exactly. Exactly. So apparently, unlike most builders, Mike is not doing this for himself. Mike is actually doing this for the mom.
And the partial satisfaction of seeing a complete kit.
There you go. Let me just shake your hand right there because this is the first. Like most of the builders I know, they built it for themselves. Like same story. They watched a show in the 90s. They wanted the model kit back in SM because that's the only place you can buy it from. There was no wheels back then. And then when they eventually had enough money, they would buy the kits and the new shows comes up and they would buy another kit for themselves. But this is different because apparently this hobby is fueled by the passion and shared between the mom and Mike. And this is something that I'm really amazed because this is something that I've never heard of before. This is something that I've never seen before. Amazing. So let's move on a little bit. So
Okay.
we've established that you're doing for this for the mom. Both of you are enjoying. Hell of a good time. I wish I had that experience. I guess every builder would say that they wish they had a kind of bond with the mom. You buy your kits on your salary, you do this, you do this, you do this. But like most of the builders, we never had that. So I guess I'm gonna say I'm sorry, I don't want to be offensive, but you are very lucky to have a mom like that. Not all moms are like that. Most moms are gonna say, oh, you buy a shirt that you're gonna use for work instead of buying those toys, but this one is different. So how big is your collection, Mike? How big is the collection? I'm not talking about numbers in peso or dollars, just give us a brief
Pieces?
number of pieces. Exactly. If you had to
Around 200 pieces.
200 pieces.
But that's
fine.
mixed. But they are mostly master grades, some perfect grades, and some little MGs. Oh no, not MGs. Some RGs, just a little bit of everything.
Oh, RGs. We'll get to that later. What's your favorite kit?
Aside from my first one,
Yeah. Like, I mean, let's move on from having your first kit. Now that you're Mike in 2023, what is your favorite kit out there? It doesn't have to be from this year. It could be from the previous years.
Let me think. Astray Red Dragon.
Why?
Since I've been building for quite a long time, the more challenging kit, the more weapons, big guns, big kit, more runners, more panel lines excite me more.
There you go. The excitement is there. So, obviously, the passion is there. It's constantly being reignited by your love for your mom and when you do this. So, was there ever a time that your mom picked a kit for you that you didn't like?
Nope.
Never?
When she does go to the toy store, which, this is no joke everyone knows who she is. And they all think she buys the kits for a son or a grandson, but no, it's for her.
For her.
The only question that I get, usually on weekends, or when she gets to the toy store, Migs, do we have this? I would just answer, yes, no. Or she sends me pictures, what don't we have?
I wish I had a mom like that. Wow, really? So, she just calls you for confirmation if we have this or not.
Yes.
Wow.
Back then, during the mid of the accumulation of kits.
So, what's her favorite kit? Si mom.
She likes the Zaku.
The Zakus.
But
Now-
recently,
Mhm.
she liked the unicorn perfectibility.
I mean, what's there not to like? I mean, it's perfectability. It has all the weapons, all the accessories. The build is great. Yeah, a bit brittle because it's unicorn, because it's every transformable unit has its brittle edges. But yeah. So, if you would ever have a dream build to surprise your mom, which kit available right now would you use? Just to surprise her.
I can't recall. I think I already got them all.
You got most of those.
Most of them. I don't exactly go for series to series. I just go to what looks nice.
So, she likes the Zaku, I'm assuming.
Most of the time, if let's say I get a hero, it needs to have
The
an
villain.
anti-hero.
Exactly.
So if I don't get both of them, it's not going to have that much weight.
Okay, so heavy collecting, you've done so well, mom's so happy. Average builders like us never had this experience na yung mom nila is really into it. What's the next step, I guess? I mean, buying a PG, Zaku, there's only a few of them. But what's the next step for Mike right now?
Probably, if lucky enough, I want to join a competition.
Which competition is this?
Probably the two ones. I'm not really much of a people person, so I just know there's one by Toy Kingdom and there's one free for all that's usually held at Robinson's Magnolia.
Okay, so the first one is GMKC, wherein you would have to purchase a kit from Toy Kingdom.
Yes.
Right? You just have to keep the receipt. So, there's going to be a GM, well, it's over now. But there's going to be a GMKC next year. Are you interested in joining?
Probably.
Okay,
Most likely, yes.
I know it's obvious by now, but I'll ask it again. Why will you join GMKC?
To add to the collection for mom.
Exactly. I mean, how
I
often...
mean, it's easy if you have the means to purchase a kit, but to have something that you joined, whether you win or not, just to have it there, means something.
It's a certificate. It could be anything, right?
Because to be honest, I was raised to value things that money cannot buy.
There you go. Wow. That's actually humbling and inspirational at the same time. That's GMKC, which is straight up building contest. You just have to buy the kit from Toy Kingdom, have the receipt.
Yes,
Now-
and they were always diligent enough to tell me, "Sir, keep the receipt."
Exactly.
For some at
Shout out to
that
Toy Kingdom.
time, I honestly didn't know yet. Now, why would I keep the receipt? First, I was reminds me of expenses, But no, they said there was this contest. If
Okay.
ever I would want to join,
You have to
is that you just need the receipt.
Exactly. The rules are different in every country, but GMKC is here in the Philippines. Now, let's talk about the other competition. GBWC. We've had like 2 or 3 maybe Filipino champions who won worlds. GBWC, Gunpla Builders World Cup. That's a whole different level from a painting contest. Are you by any chance interested in joining? GBWC.
Well, I
2024.
have friends in our hobby and in the community that have actually pushed and inspired me to try my luck.
Try your luck. Who are these friends?
Personally, one is Don Cerratos,
Mhm.
Sydney Ang,
Mhm.
and you. To be honest,
Well,
hey,
hey, yeah, we're here.
that's real.
It is real, but it takes a lot of time. Like the hobby takes a lot of time, dedication, money, right?
hmm
You think mom will be happy if you join GBWC?
Oh yeah, because here's a story for the books. I told my mom about Nico,
Yeah, who's very young. Nico Soratos is the daughter of
Don Cerratos.
Don Soratos.
And then there was this time. There was still the exhibit.
Yeah.
There in Robinson's Magnolia. I had lunch with my dad and my mom, and then we were waiting for our order, and then she wanted to look,
Mhm.
and then she told me to get a picture beside Nico's kid. She was posing right there. So, she said, Migs, make sure maganda ako and send it to Nico. Okay, and I took her picture, I sent it to Nico. Nico was so happy, and then she told about it with her dad, and she
Ah.
like described that, oh, Mike's mom just looks like Mike, but a girl, but an old, like a seasoned old version of Mike.
And then, wow. And that's actually what
She was
inspired
pretty
you.
much ecstatic about it.
And that's what inspired you. So, here's the big question. Is Mike going to join GBWC 2024?
I think I am.
You have to.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing.
Because it comes from my nature that I'm shy.
Mhm.
I'm just really outgoing with friends, but mostly I would just rather stay home and build stuff or rest. But mostly, whether or not I join or I'm still gonna do it. Might as well add a little something to the collection.
Guys,
And here's a good thing. If you have friends that support something good, they're keepers.
exactly. So, here's the thing, right? Builders like me, who's never had experience in tournaments like that, I think this is all a story that we need to hear right now. Kasi, anybody can join as long as you're aware of the rules and the heart is there. Like, not everybody is lucky enough to have a mom like Mike's, but we are all builders and we all want to be there. So instead of just looking, maybe it's high time to just join for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it, right? I guess what inspires me the most is you're not joining alone. You are friends with Don Soratos, who's a champion. Nico Soratos is also a champion in her division. Do you think that gives you an unfair advantage versus the other guys like me who just want to join for the heck of it?
I don't think so, because even if they're there, they would, yes, give tips, but in the end, it will just be you, your tools, and your hands.
Exactly. Like most of
But the nicest thing, it's of having friends like them, Don, Nico, and Sid, isn't the potential support or knowledge they can give you.
Mhm.
It's the encouragement, and that for me is worth more than anything.
Exactly. All these 3 great champions, all these 3 great persons, always give tips, but most importantly, they encourage people. So when I ask them, What's the number one tip you could give people like me? Join. Exactly. They would encourage you. Alright, let's move on to more interesting things. So, obviously, your love for Gunpla is there with your mom and all that. Bandai. What's your stance when you hear bootleg, fake, third party is better than Bandai? How does that make you feel? What's somebody
Honestly?
Honestly, yeah.
Can I speak from the heart here?
Of course.
It's not gonna be better than Bandai, of course.
Mhm.
Number one, it's you copy things.
Exactly.
But to make things clear, a bootleg is different from a third-party kit.
Exactly. It's not a kit that didn't pass quality assurance.
Yes,
It's made by an entirely different company.
correct.
Right. And I mean, just between you and me, I wouldn't buy a kit that has the name of TT. Only TT.
I wouldn't buy that either.
It sounds like a fucking penis, but yeah, they would have to overcompensate with adding more weapons and stuff like that. But
I think that's Supernova or something like that. All of those other things.
yeah. But what is your stance? I mean, do you think you're a person that would buy these things?
Of course not.
I mean, for curiosity, because I mean, a lot of people would often say that I can't afford Bandai. That's why I have 30 pieces of the Holy TT. Or whatever,
Look.
friend.
I'm just go with what you said. If you have 30 pieces of something, wouldn't, let's say if one kit costs, like, let's say for example, I'm not really well versed into that side of the fence, but if you have 30 pieces of something that's worth probably $300, do the math.
Exactly.
That's just my point. Do the math. Here's another thing. I have a very busy schedule. I can only get to build probably, if I'm lucky, on Sundays or half of a Saturday.
Wow.
The advantage of getting the real thing is you can be very, very efficient with your time.
Exactly.
Not much sanding, not much fitment issues, this and that. So I would just opt to go with the real thing because I was raised on seeing Bandai kits.
Exactly.
But that's just me.
Exactly. Like each of us is an individual. We view and value things differently. But some people tend to say it's better that way because one, it's cheaper. Well, I wouldn't say it's cheaper because some of these fake kits cost like 3 grand, 3,000 pesos, 2,000 pesos.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean,
3 grand for a fake?
I mean,
Well, I'll just get the real thing and add probably Jollibee money.
exactly. Like they would say, some would even argue that with this specific kit, you get more weapons. I don't think that they get more posability because most of the time, I get questions like, have you guys have issues with this kit? What do I look out for? And some of the members would say, yeah, it doesn't fit. It's always, it doesn't fit. I mean, I guess it's a good learning tool. But
True.
again, for people
Because
like
I've
you,
heard,
Mhm.
for some, they get it because they're too skittish, I would say, to
Mhm.
try it on a real kit. Like, if each thing has a purpose,
Mhm.
yes, if you learn from it,
Exactly.
and then from getting a beginner bootleg kit,
Mhm.
you will eventually graduate to the real thing.
Well, some people never grow the bootleg thing. I mean, even with the rise of the entry grades where there's no stickers, it's snap build, everything fits. Some people prefer that brand, but that's another topic that we can talk about. Okay?
Mhm.
I just wanted to get your opinion. I mean, would we ever catch you buying one for yourself?
No?
Why not?
I've heard a lot of stories that, yes, everything you told me, they don't fit. They
Eyes
don't-
around?
The eyes around, they look weird, different. But here's my take on it. if the plastic is inferior, we even with the best tools, and we all invested heavily in tools.
Got time and all that.
You, most of the people that we know, and what if, because of inferior quality materials, you cut yourself with a very, very sharp blade?
Oh yeah.
It's a good thing if just a little nick. What if it goes a long way?
Now I got Nick trying to build one, so yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
What if, here's another thing, what if something happens to the hand? Most of our hands were made to care for us and our families.
Exactly.
What if I'm a writer, I cut myself, I can't write if I'm right-handed? Things like that cross my mind.
Exactly. Right, moving on. I mean,
that's one of my concerns.
valid point. I will not argue with that. I think that's very valid. Now, I mean, for me, let's just talk about me for a second.
Okay.
I don't think there's value to it if you're practicing and all that. If you never outgrow it, then that's your problem, I guess. But the thing is, it will never be better than Bandai, because those kids, you can't even join in any competition.
Yes, true. Number one. I mean, who would enter a fake kit in an authentic contest?
It's like going to a convention where everybody shows their kicks, Nike, and yours is fake. Why would you even go there to showcase what's fake?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing, I was raised not to follow trends, but to get the best that I can afford. Never get a fake, just get the best that you can afford.
Exactly.
If you're not there yet, you will be there someday.
Exactly, eventually. Very humbling. That's a lesson.
Because that's with material things. If we can't get them now, put a little elbow grease, hard work.
Exactly.
You'll be able to enjoy it soon. As soon as.
Exactly. Work hard, get a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about something that's I guess funny.
Okay.
In my case, we've had a lot of Filipino champions, and you are acquainted with champions. Do you think our under 21 or our under 20 champion has a chance in the GPWC Worlds? I'm talking about Nico Saratos. She's going to Japan in a few weeks.
Yes, yes.
And you're gonna be there as well, right? You're gonna go to Japan?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. What are your thoughts? Do you think we have a chance?
Of course we do. First, a champion always has to believe in themselves before someone else believes in them. But the way that I see it, everyone supports Nico.
Yeah, I support Nico.
I do too.
Nico Soratos, paste it on our channel, right here. Lastly, who is your favorite Filipino champion?
All of them.
All of them, right?
All three.
Right. Okay, so all three is your favorite champion, but if there's a non-champion that you ever want to see the name that wins GBWC, even just in the Philippines, in the local scene, who would you root for?
I honestly wouldn't know.
You just gonna root for the champions.
Of course.
Because it makes sense, right?
It's not only that, but ever with any competition or any decision by an authority on the subject,
Okay.
you must first respect the decision.
Exactly.
If there's any way that you feel a little sour or bitter towards a decision like that, speak with your work, not with your mouth.
Exactly. And that's it. Thank you so much, Mike. That's all the time we have. Gunpla TV here. Watch out for our next video. Thank you so much. Compelling
Great
story.
to be here.
Great story. I mean, I envy the fact that he has a mom like that. I mean, I hope that we all have a mom like that. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Our not so special guest, but very, very first timer, Mike. He's been into Gunpla for the last 4 or 5 years?
Heavily 4 or 5 years.
Heavily 4 or 5
But
years.
my first kit, I remember I got it when I was in kindergarten. it was a full armor double Zeta, but you had to use what's this adhesive on it. The color separation was bad.
For context, do you want to give us how old are you?
I'm old enough. We're all the same age here anyway. Oh, like that bootleg.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We have like 50.